So this topic is actually really disheartening to me because I really want to like Nintendo. Nintendo is what got me into gaming in the first place. My first ever gaming experience was Super Mario 64. And my next memorable gaming experience after that one was Paper Mario Thousand Year Old Door, the original. Like now it's becoming really hard to back Nintendo's corner, as I feel what they're doing right now is an attack against innovation in and of itself, specifically innovation in video games. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me explain. So recently, as of September 19, Nintendo published this lawsuit for infringement of patent rights against PocketPair, which if you don't know, PocketPair are the ones who created Palworld, the same game that got a lot of gripe for having monsters in it that looked like Pokemon and stuff, and basically being a lot like Pokemon, except it's like a survival game. Think if Minecraft and Pokemon had a kid, their baby would be Palworld, basically. So anyways, as we can read here, Nintendo, together with the Pokemon Company, basically the same thing, filed a patent infringement lawsuit in the Tokyo District Court against PocketPair Incorporated on September 18th. This lawsuit seeks an injunction against infringement and compensation for damages on the grounds that Palworld, a game developed and released by the defendant, infringes multiple patent rights. Does this list the patent rights? Nope! Anyways, Nintendo will continue to take necessary actions against any infringement of its intellectual property rights, including the Nintendo brand itself, to protect the intellectual properties it has worked hard to establish over the years. So what does this all mean? Well, for starters, they're filing for infringement on patent rights rather than copyright, which at first is what everyone thought they were going to do, because some of the PALs in Palworld do look a little similar to some of the Pokemon from, Pokemon. But no, actually, they are taking the patent route. And what patent is Palworld exactly infringing on? Well, at first, Palworld themselves didn't know, which is kind of funny, because how are you going to get sued and not be told what you're being sued about? They kind of got served and were just told that, hey, you were infringing on Nintendo's patents, pal. And they're like, well, what patents? And they were like, well, we can't tell you that just yet, buddy. So they were probably like, what the hell is going on? But thankfully, we do now kind of know what patents they are being sued for. And specifically, it is in regards to how you capture pals in Palworld, and how it is very similar in how you catch Pokemon in Pokemon. So you know how in Pokemon you use a ball to capture Pokemon with? A sphere-looking object, if you will? Well, in Palworld, you basically do the same thing when you try to catch pals. You also use a sphere-like object. Add on to the fact that once you throw that sphere object at the pal, they're caught, and then you also have catch and release features in the game as well, allowing you to release the pal. It does fall in line to a patent that Nintendo, specifically in Japan, has. And why do I say specifically in Japan? Because this patent actually hasn't been registered in the US from the Pokemon Company, meaning they can't sue Palworld in America for using that patent. What's funny now too is that they're actually scrambling to get that patent approved here in America. But anyways, now that I've explained the whole lawsuit situation in regards to Pokemon v Palworld, I really want to get into the meat and potatoes of what this video is actually really about. And specifically, it's about putting patents on gaming mechanics, and how I feel it really hampers innovation. Not only does it hamper innovation, it also prevents certain video games from being made, as it essentially disallows the reusage of a good gaming mechanic, strictly so a gaming company can essentially puppy guard that shit and not allow anyone else to potentially use it to possibly make a better game. Let me give you a popular example that's already been probably used by a bunch of other YouTubers, but it's been used because it's such a good example. The Nemesis system from Shadows of War. Now, if you don't know what this system is, because you've never played Shadows of War or Shadows of Mordor, which you probably should because they're good games, but anyways. Essentially, the Nemesis system is a game mechanic from those games where enemy leaders remember their interactions with the player and evolve based on those encounters. Example, if an enemy leader killed you, it will then gain strength, rank up in the game's leadership chain, and also remember that time it killed you and even taunt you about it. Essentially, it's a way to make the game feel more alive and immersive, and actually involves stakes in killing enemy leaders whenever you do battle with them. And this cool, unique gaming mechanic is locked behind a patent, meaning no other gaming company or game developer can use it without potentially being at risk of being sued. Do you know how much that sucks? Imagine this same system incorporated into a Star Wars game, where the system revolves around the Empire and their leadership hierarchy, and maybe whenever you killed an Imperial officer, some random stormtrooper got promoted or something like that. Or shoot, it doesn't even have to be a recognizable IP. Just imagine any other game that incorporated a system like that. Like, I can already imagine creative games that could utilize that system, where enemy generals or leaders remember the stuff you did, and there's like a live leadership environment where the chain of command is constantly changing due to stuff that you did in the game. And that's freaking badass, man. And we're not gonna see it in any other game that's not from Warner Brothers until year 2035. Do you know how ridiculous that is? I mean, it's bad enough that this is even allowed. How are you able to patent a gaming mechanic? Are you kidding me? How are games supposed to evolve and innovate if you can potentially lock cool gaming mechanics like that behind a patent? It's just ridiculous, man. Now listen, I understand that gaming companies should be rewarded for coming up with something unique like that. I'm in agreement with that. However, I think there's got to be another way it's done. For example, if your game has a similar gaming mechanic that's quote-unquote patented, you can then decide to pay royalties to the company with the patent to be able to use it. That way, in a sense, both sides win. The company that made the cool gaming mechanic gets a share of profits for the other gaming company using a similar mechanic that they themselves created, and the gaming company that's using that mechanic are able to incorporate it into their game. That all being said though, I'm not sure if that's already a thing that could potentially take place, as I'm not well versed in the legalese to be able to find and locate that stuff. So if that does exist already, then excuse my rambling. But regardless, this lawsuit from Nintendo to Palworld is really just an attack from Nintendo to continue being the top dog in the monster catching genre. And also because I feel like they were slighted from the making of Palworld, and they were just looking for a reason to be able to sue them. But what do y'all think? Do y'all agree with patents being able to be placed on gaming mechanics? And who do y'all support in this lawsuit? Let me know down in the comments below. And remember, if you liked the video and want to hear more from me, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on the Mayhem Moles. That's gonna be it from me. I will catch y'all next time. Peace!